Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. In this video, I want to talk about prayer. And especially that you need to be willingly to endure what you are praying for. I believe yesterday or the day before, I recorded a video before I went to sleep saying, it was just 20 seconds long, that you need to be willing to endure what you're praying for. In this video, I'm going to expand upon that. I'm about to cook soon. That's why I'm in the kitchen. This is an onion, by the way. Let me put it down for a while. While the things are on the stove here, I'll head to my room and I'll record another video for you in which I will be talking about energy fields and how it relates to the human imagination. But for now, about prayer. When you pray, you ought to be willingly to endure what you've prayed for. Let me give an example. There was this man that wanted to get rich. I'm just using a simple example now. Let's call him Ludo. Ludo wanted to get rich. Ludo is a Germanic name from, I believe, from Ludovicus, Ludovic. But okay, Ludo wanted to be rich. So he prayed about it. And prayed and prayed. So one day he received an offer to invest some, let's say, 150 euros into a share, and he thought, I don't trust upon the stock market and all that. I don't have any knowledge of it. I failed my economics course at high school, so why bother? But his friend told him, Ludo, just try it out, man. So Ludo thought, okay, here, 150 euros of my wage. That's it. 5 months later, he received a letter saying he can sell his share if he wants. And he thought, okay, just sell it. And the day afterwards, he goes to his bank account and he sees 400,000 euros there. And he thinks, what? How is this possible? And he asked the bank about it, and the bank told him it's from the local stock market. And then he remembered the share he bought for 150 euros. What happened? Ludo was praying to get rich. And it worked. He got rich. He wasn't a millionaire, but man, he had a lot of cash. So Ludo was happy. He told his friend about it. His friend had like 50,000 euros that he gained on the stock market. So what did Ludo do? He purchased a small house of 80,000 euros in France, because in France you have those small houses that are for sale. And for the rest, he just went to his shop as usual. But he purchased new clothes. He purchased an iMac, also a MacBook. He renewed his home. After a while, people began to ask him if he was doing drugs. And he was thinking, what? What's wrong with you? I go to my job every day. I work at an electronics store, on the office. I work 28 hours a week. And then people told him, but the clothes you're wearing, they're quite expensive. And Ludo told them, listen, these are just counterfeit clothes, man. These are not real Gucci, real Versace, and all that. Why would I take the effort purchasing a pants, a trouser of 500 euros? What the heck is that? But here's the thing. Because Ludo now had all that money, his perception changed. He could spend more, and it affected how he behaved. So he didn't go out and purchase all those expensive clothes. He purchased the counterfeits. He just wanted to dress up a little. He went to parties once in a while, spending some cash. And here's what happened. The people around them became uncomfortable with him because they were not used to having Ludo spending a lot. Here's another thing. He went to the club a few times. Ludo was someone that went to clubs. He couldn't because he didn't have any money. And he thought, what am I doing going to a club if I don't have any money? Wasting money every weekend. But now he had 400,000 euros and he still had his job. So he could afford now to go to a club a few times, even just a few times. After the 5th time he thought, what the heck is this? I don't want to come here anymore. But look at this. There were people at that club that saw Ludo coming. And those people knew that he was working at an electronics store on the office. Because some of those people that came there used to come to the electronics store. So they noticed him and they thought, what? Is that the Ludo guy over here? What is he doing? And they saw him spending like 800 euros in one night at the club, having a great time with his buddies. So what happened now? People at that club, the people that came regularly, began to talk about Ludo. So Ludo, he got a kind of fame in that circuit. But it was not the type of fame he was looking for. He just went there to have some good time with his friends. That's it. But there were other things that came along with it. So now you had people that were dealing drugs that were thinking that, man, he may be another drug dealer. Because often drug dealers that earned a lot through their drug dealing would go to parties and show off who's the man. That's what drug dealers often did. Now, Ludo was not a drug dealer. He was just a guy wanted to have some good time with his friends, and he wanted to thank his friends for being friends with them. He just wanted to have good time with his buddies, and he used the money on the friends. Ludo wasn't greedy for money. He wasn't. The reason he wanted to become rich was that he could spend it more on the people close to him. And that's what he did. But there was a side effect he didn't notice. And that is that people now had expectations towards him. They couldn't stand him, Ludo, having so much spent, and they couldn't explain where the money was coming from. They did not know that he invested 150 euros on the stock market and it turned in 400,000 euros. Even if they would have found out, they wouldn't believe it, because they would think it's a fairy tale. But it really happened. What happened here? While Ludo was praying, he was praying, but he wasn't praying in line with God's will. But he was praying. What happened now? Demons around noticed his prayers. And the demons decide that they're going to help him out. So the demons answered the prayer. Why did the demons answer the prayer? The demons knew that Ludo was not greedy for money. So the demons knew if the demons would cause him to get millions, Ludo would become terrified. Ludo would think, no, what is this? So the demons discussed and thought, okay, we're just going to grant him 400 grants. Because the demons knew who his friends were, the demons knew who he would hang out with, and demons knew that the only reason why he wanted to be rich was so they can spend more on the people close to him. And the people close to him also went to clubs. So the demons figured out, if we answer this prayer for him in our way, because if we wait for a while, Ludo may begin to evaluate this prayer to realize this may not be God's will. So no, now that he's praying, we need to act. So the demons acted. Because the demons knew that if he got all that money, sooner or later he would go to the club with his friends. And the demons knew that by doing this, he would get attention from all those negative-minded people that often go to the clubs. And the demons knew that his life would be in danger. Not only his life, also the life of his friends. Because some of those guys that went to the club often, that witnessed him spending a lot, they also witnessed that some of the women at the club gave attention to Ludo. And now they were thinking, oh dear, this Ludo comes by and now he's taking away all the chicks from us. Who the heck this Ludo think he is? So now those guys want to go after Ludo. So now Ludo was targeted at the job. They would often come by in the store without buying anything because they want to check out where Ludo was. Ludo was not aware of it. The boss was thinking, who are these guys coming after this store when they're not purchasing anything? But Ludo was not aware of it. So also the boss was now involved in it. You see what happened here? The demons answered the prayer. Okay? Ludo was not aware of it. Ludo thought, well, I just prayed and it worked. But here's the thing. Ludo was not willing to endure what he prayed for. Because if Ludo would have considered everything concerning his longing to get rich, he would have realized, hold on a minute, this will bring more with it than I can handle. This will bring more with it than I don't oversee. You know what? Father, forgive me for praying to get rich. I thank you for your provision for me daily. And then his prayers would have developed. And here's another thing. You have maybe a young woman that wants to get married and have a man. Great. I support that. But let's say that she has expectations concerning men and concerning relationships that don't add up. While she's praying to get a man, the Holy Spirit is showing her things that need to go. The Holy Spirit is also showing her that some of the friends she's hanging out are not good for her, that she needs to be delivered from those people. But here's the thing, let's call this young lady, think of name Lydia. Lydia is so into getting a man. She also puts herself on dating sites, all of that. So, okay, the Holy Spirit decides, okay, you're going to have a man. Let's say the Holy Spirit does this. It's not demons doing it, so the Holy Spirit, that's why you're going to have a man. So now, she finds a man. They get engaged. They even had a great wedding. 1 year into the marriage, all hell breaks loose. And now Lydia is thinking that her husband turned on her. Because now he was acting angry. He tended to accuse her of all of those things. And she was thinking, oh, he turned on me. No, Lydia, he didn't turn on you. You were blinded by your own expectations. You didn't evaluate. And when the Holy Spirit was directing you to show you this needs to go, you kept holding on to it. So the Holy Spirit, in order for you to learn it, allowed you to get what you want on your terms, not on his terms, but on your terms, that you would find out that's not really what you want. And unfortunately it happened, because what's going on? Lydia was not willing to endure what she prayed for. If she did, she would have renewed her mind, renewed her expectations, and she also would have let go of those friendships that were not good for her. If you can even call those people friends. Because she realized later that when things went wrong in her marriage, it were those same friends that kept spreading rumors about her, that kept talking bad about her, that contributed to the whole thing. When she was just single, going to parties with them and talking bad about men and all of that, they were okay with her because she was inactive together with them. But now that she had a husband, those other friends became jealous because they had no intention of settling down and all of that. So now their dissatisfaction turned against Lydia. Before, Lydia was part of their dissatisfaction and she joined them. That's why they were friends with her. You get what I'm saying here? So be willing to endure what you prayed for. Okay, some of you want, okay, let me think of a good example now. Alright. There was this, I'm going to the New Testament now, there was this guy that was blind. And he heard that Jesus of Nazareth came in town. Or Yahushua or Yeshua, I don't care which variant of name you use. The Messiah came into town. The guy was blind. And the guy began to scream, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. He kept screaming and screaming it, and people were saying, shut up, shut up. People wanted to stay quiet. But the man kept on shouting, and Christ stopped. And Christ asked him what he wanted. He said to be able to see. And he could see, and he followed Christ. What happened? That man could have easily been beaten up by that crowd for not shutting up. And who would have cared? He was an outcast of society. He was anyone important. Nobody really bothered with him. If he would have looked at how people react towards him, he would have remained blind. He wouldn't have caused any discomfort. He wouldn't have bothered other people with this issue. He didn't care about how other people would feel about it. He needed deliverance. He went for it. About that Syrophoenician woman, I've talked about her often. She did not care that Christ said no. She did not care that she was bothering other people by keep going after Christ, keep shouting after Christ about her needs. She did not care that the apostles were tired of her and even asked Christ to send her away. She had faith in the Lord, and the Lord was developing her faith at that moment, but the Lord did not inform the apostles about it. Christ could have told them, Peter, John, all of you, listen, work with me. I'm just developing her faith. Work with me. Christ didn't do that. Christ knew that the disciples were going off at her, and Christ knew that people around were bothered by it. But Christ didn't care. Christ was there to develop her faith. That Syrophoenician woman, just like that man that was blind, they were willing to endure what they prayed for. They knew that there would be resistance. They knew that people would turn on them. They knew that they would encounter attacks. They knew that they would encounter danger. They did not care about all of those. They acknowledged them, but they looked beyond. And here's the issue. A lot of folks, they don't look beyond. They have expectations that they want to solidify, and their prayers are a tool to solidify their expectations. While the Holy Spirit is moving them to give up those expectations so that their mind is renewed, so that their expectations are in line with Christ. Because if your mind is not in line with Christ, it means that your expectations are not in line with Christ. And that means that those prayers you're praying in line with those expectations are really trapping you. But you're not aware of it. Well, I can make more parables if I want. I can give more examples, but I hope you get what I'm saying here. Many of the prayers you've prayed, the Holy Spirit said no, because the Holy Spirit wanted you to develop. It's not that the outcome you wanted was anything wrong, but the Holy Spirit saw that this outcome would not benefit you in the long run. And too often we focus on the short-term advantage. We don't look beyond it. In the case of Lydia, she got the outcome she wanted for, and there was nothing wrong with the outcome itself, but her attitude towards the outcome was wrong. And because her attitude towards the outcome was wrong, it was not good for her to receive that outcome. About that guy Ludo, he wanted an outcome. He was not greedy for money. He had no intention of starting his own business, becoming a millionaire. He wasn't into all of that. He just wanted to be wealthy, to spend it on the people around him. He had no intention of using people to get money, because money was not that important to him. He just wanted to use money as a tool to serve the people around him. So his heart was right. But here's the thing. The people around him would exploit him. The people around him would turn on him. The people around him, just like those people at the club, they will become violently obsessed against him. And those people will eventually go after his life if they don't manage to get stuff from him. Ludo did not see all of that. Ludo's attitude towards money was right. He didn't worship money. Money was just a tool. That's the right thing. But the outcome was not beneficial for Ludo in the long run. In Ludo's case, demons thought, you know what? We're going to support this man. Not because we love him, because we don't, he's a believer, we can't stand him, we can't stand his Christ, we can't stand the Savior. But we're going to assist him because it's going to bring benefit to us. Why? Because all the people that became violently obsessed against Ludo, even turned on him, they were in the negative. And they were now spreading negativity in the community. And who was feeding off of negativity? The demons. So anytime the devil and his agents answer your prayers, it's not out of goodwill towards you. There is some killing, stealing, destroying, following that will come from it. There is some long-term sorrow that you don't see that will come from what they're doing. So, about prayer, be willing to endure what you pray for. That's why you renew your minds that you are in agreement with Christ. Okay, that's it for now. Now I really need to cook. Thanks for watching. Agree with Christ and be at peace.